The reason the kids are sometimes getting up and moving around is because we want them all to have the opportunity to play first part or first chair. They all want to do that. And it's good for them and they can handle it. So I got to tell you, yesterday rehearsal and this one today, your kids may have come home and told you, boy, he was on a tear. And I was fussing and fussing and chewing and biting and scratching. But they're just so amazing what they can do, and I just won't let them settle for less than what they can. It's going to be the best. So if you have ever been to a concert that I've given here before in the previous 7 years, you know I like to do things a little different sometimes. Just throw something out there that's a little bit more fun. So our next piece will be introduced by Diego, and I hope you enjoy it. It's probably hot in here because all these bodies, but it's going to get hotter, so just hang on.
On June 25th, 1950, the North Koreans invaded the South. Striking in overwhelming force without warning, they crushed the unprepared Republic of Korean army. The North Koreans were only contained by the entry of the United States, quickly supported by the United Nations. For a time, the issue was in doubt, although the North Koreans had virtually annihilated the Republican forces. The unsurprised Republic of Korean Army had resisted desperately. The North Koreans had suffered grave losses in men and material and in savage fighting. When the North Koreans first met the U.S. Army and realized the United States had really entered the conflict, they paused, and for a few weeks they regrouped. This gave the U.S. and the UN time to build up their forces and to finally stop the North Koreans completely in the Battle of the Pusan Perimeter. On September 15th, the 1st Marine Division under the command of Major General Oliver P. Smith led the first major UN force strike in North Korean occupied territory. With a surprise ambitious assault at Incheon, the 1st Marine Division Reconnaissance Company made the first helicopter landing on Hill 812 to relieve the Republic of Korean 8th Division during renewed fighting. For 5 days of textbook-style campaigning, the division closed in Seoul, a South Korean capital. In house-to-house fighting, the Marines rested in the city of its communist captors. By September 27th, on October 7th, 1950, with the North Korean forces in full retreat, the Incheon-Seoul campaign was formally declared closed. Conceived and directed by General Douglas MacArthur, the assault on Incheon was a strategic masterpiece. The invasion had suddenly positioned some of the U.S. finest fighting men across the main North Korean lines of supply and retreat, far in the rear of their attacking armies. Within 2 weeks, the North Korean army was largely destroyed and rendered different and effective. Incheon, a musical work by Robert W. Smith, was inspired by the historic event, from the quiet sound of the waves and from the lonely Korean beach, and the landing of the helicopter on Hill 812. Incheon explores this clashing of cultures through sound. Even the simple Korean prayer in the center of the piece is answered by the more powerful Western statement in the same melody. As quickly as the invasion begins, it ends in a helicopter fly into the distance, leaving the beach once again in solitude. Incheon is dedicated in loving memory of the composer's father. a heroic veteran of the Korean and Vietnam conflict. Staff Sergeant Benjamin F. Smith, U.S. Army, retired, was laid to rest in Arlington National Cemetery in Washington, D.C. in May 2000. This work honors Sergeant Smith and his fellow heroes and commemorates the 15th anniversary of the Korean conflict.